Welcome back to another episode of the Power Podcast. And today we have very special guest Rania Hoteit with us. And Rania is a multi-award winning serial entrepreneur, global impact leader, coach, speaker, and board member. Yes, Rania, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi everyone, this is Rania Hoteit. It's such a pleasure to be on the Power podcast with you today, Nilesh.
Okay, so let's moving forward to our first question. How do vision and decision making affects leadership?
Vision and decision making are at the heart of great leadership. Vision is what gives leaders direction and meaning. It's your compass, your why. It's not just about setting goals, it's about painting a clear picture of a better future that others want to be part of. A powerful vision creates unity, it builds momentum and fuels people's passion because they know where they're going and why it matters. But vision without action is just a meaningless dream. That's where decision making comes in. Leadership means having the courage to make bold decisions that move your vision forward. And as a leader, you're constantly faced with tough choices, often with limited information and no guaranteed outcomes. But great leaders don't wait for perfect conditions. They stay rooted in purpose, they make value driven decisions, and take action with confidence, especially when the path is unclear. And that kind of decisiveness builds trust and it shows your strength and turns your ideas into reality. When vision and decision making come together, basically that's where real transformation happens. You don't just lead, you inspire, you ignite belief, you drive progress, and empower others to lead with you as well. So, for anyone who is stepping into leadership, I would say lead with vision, act with courage, and never underestimate the power of a clear decision made with purpose.
Really amazing answer. Really amazing answer. So let's moving forward to our second question. How can leaders drive innovation and disruption for lasting growth while staying aligned with the company's core values and mission?
Real innovation isn't just about chasing the next big idea. It's about creating meaningful, lasting growth without losing sight of who you are as a company. I think great leaders drive innovation by building a culture of curiosity, courage, and constant improvement. They give their teams the freedom to challenge the norm and experiment and even fail because real disruption doesn't happen in comfort zones or in safe zones. But here's the key: all that innovation must stay anchored in your company's core values and mission. That's what keeps it grounded and that's what makes change sustainable. The most effective leaders are always asking, how can we evolve in a way that deepens our impact? They're not just pivoting to stay trendy, they're pushing boundaries with real purpose. They build teams that are diverse in thought, agile in execution, and deeply connected to the why behind what they do. So, to drive innovation that actually sticks, leaders have to do two things at once: stay rooted in their purpose and boldly reach for what's possible. And when that balance between disruption and alignment with mission and values is achieved, that's when innovation becomes not only exciting, but truly meaningful and deeply transformative. That's the kind of innovation that endures. That's how real, lasting growth happens.
Perfect answer. Perfect answer. So let's moving forward to our third question. What essential mindset shifts and principles help leaders overcome challenges and handle the emotional side of business setbacks?
Challenges and setbacks are inevitable in business, and the emotional side of leadership is very real. But what separates great leaders is their mindset. Setbacks don't just challenge your strategy, they can feel deeply personal because they test your identity. One of the most essential mindset shifts is realizing that adversity isn't a detour, it's the path. You don't get around it, you have to move through it. And that's often where the greatest growth and transformation happen. Another big shift is going from control to resilience, from being attached to outcomes to being committed to purpose. When you're overly tied to specific results, every setback can feel like a personal failure. But when you're rooted in something deeper, your values, your mission, you lead with more clarity and steadiness even amidst uncertainty. And a third shift is learning to see setbacks as feedback, not as failure. Leaders who have a growth mindset treat challenges like data, information to learn from and to grow through. And yes, of course, setbacks hurt, but strong leaders don't avoid their emotions. They reflect, they reset, and they reconnect to their purpose. On a principle level, there are two I always hold close. One, you are not your results. Your identity isn't tied to one project or one launch or one tough season. Your worth isn't tied to wins or losses, but rather to how you lead through them. And two, you can be both vulnerable and powerful. You can be steady and still be human. And the leaders who embody that balance, they're the ones who create real lasting impact, not in spite of the setbacks, but because of how they rise from them. So lead with heart, lead with courage, and always remember setbacks don't define you, they refine you.
Okay, really nice answer. So let's moving forward to our fourth question. What leadership qualities and strategies are most important for building a strong team and balancing growth with company culture?
Building a strong team and growing while protecting your culture takes more than strategy. It takes intentional leadership. The best leaders know that culture isn't a side effect of growth, it's the foundation of it, and it starts with clarity. When people know what your company stands for, your values, your vision, your why, they have something real to rally around. That clarity builds trust, alignment, and a deep sense of belonging. Second is consistency. Great leaders model the culture they want to build. It's how they show up in meetings, how they give feedback, how they handle pressure. Culture isn't built in the big moments, it's built in the everyday details and actions. Another powerful strategy is building a team that's not just talented, but also diverse in thought and united in purpose. That's where innovation thrives. You want people who challenge each other with respect, who bring different strength but are moving in the same direction. And when it comes to balancing growth with culture, it's about being just as intentional with how you grow as how fast you grow. Growth that sacrifices values eventually costs more for a company than it's worth. So, as a leader, slow down enough to listen, protect the trust you've built, stay close to your people, and remember the strongest teams aren't just high performing, they're rooted in purpose, fueled by culture, and led by someone who cares enough to keep both at the center.
Okay, so let's moving forward to our fifth and last question. What does legacy and impact mean to you? And how can leaders intentionally cultivate it in their work?
Legacy and impact are the heartbeat of leadership. Legacy is the imprint that you leave behind, while impact is the echo that ripples through time and touches lives. For me, legacy isn't about accolades, it's about creating something that lasts, something that continues to inspire and grow long after you're gone. Leaders can intentionally cultivate legacy by making decisions aligned with their values and vision. Every moment is a chance to build or diminish that legacy. So, to create lasting impact, focus on serving others, leading by example, and empowering those around you to thrive. It's not about waiting for recognition, it's about living with purpose every single day. So, ask yourself, what do I want my legacy to be? Your impact begins with intentional, purpose driven action. So I'd say start today and make it count.
Okay, so really nice answers, Rania. And I hope this episode will bring lots of value to the people, and people will get to know about leadership and how to build long lasting company with their leadership skills. So thank you so much for sharing your experience with our audience, and thank you so much for being here on the Power Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.